Hey everyone, this is Jonathan with another video, and today I want to talk about how you can ace your next phone screen. The 3 tips I want to go over today are the 3 knows. Know the role, know your experience, and know how to communicate your experience. I found that these 3 tips have been very helpful when I've previously interviewed as well as when candidates have interviewed with me. The first tip that I want to recommend is to know the role and to know it well. Being able to come into a conversation knowing why you are qualified for the position is huge and allows you to build a compelling argument as to why you are the right candidate. Going into the conversation, you should want to be able to talk about the company, the qualifications, why it interests you, why you applied for it, and why you think you'd be a good fit. Being able to touch on all these different components will allow you to build a really strong case to the company representative that you could be a potential fit going forward. Knowing about the company history, knowing about what they do, these are all different ways that you can build a case for yourself to show that you're the right fit for the role going forward. The second tip I want to recommend is to know your experience. I deal with so many candidates that look so great on paper, but when I hop on the phone with them, they're not really able to speak to their experience. Usually when recruiters are doing their first screen, they're going through your resume, starting with your most current and then going back to previous positions. Having your resume to follow along is a great way to make sure that you're prepared for the questions that come forward. So I highly recommend make sure you have your resume in front of you whenever you're doing a type of hiring manager or recruiter phone screen. It will allow you to be a lot more prepared for some of the questions that they may ask. For my third tip, I would recommend know how to communicate your experience. You can look great on paper, you can know the role and feel like you're qualified, but if you're not able to communicate it effectively, then you're not going to be able to separate yourself from other candidates. One thing that I would recommend is when answering questions, try using this SAR answer methodology, which stands for situation, action, result. First, for situation, you want to be able to talk about what was the situation that you were in. So if a recruiter asks, name a time when you had to deal with a project deadline, and you're able to talk about, I was working on this branding doc that we wanted to use, and we had to get it done by the end of the month. And I was already crunched and the team was super thin. This was the situation. What was the action? So what I decided to do was we would distribute the work across the 4 members of our team rather than just me doing it. And then we would send it to creative by the end of the week, and we set a deadline. Through this deadline, we were able to execute. Result. So being able to talk about those 3 things is really, really effective in being able to make your answers concise. Remember, you're selling yourself to the recruiter. You're trying to show why you are the most qualified candidate. And if you're able to provide a situation, action, result, you can pass any phone screen with flying colors. So my 3 tips: know the role, know your experience, know how to communicate your experience. I can say pretty confidently that if you follow these 3 tips, you're going to be able to go into phone screens feeling a lot more confident. Being able to know the role and why you're qualified, being able to follow along and be prepared for questions asked, and being able to communicate effectively when answering those questions are all great ways that you're going to be able to be successful and ace your next phone screen.